Why do y'all think John Jones don't want to fight Tom Aspinall? Is Tom Aspinall that good where John Jones should be worried? 'Cause I think John Jones, me personally, nothing against Tom Aspinall, I think John Jones will walk through him.
I personally think it's the toughest fight on hand for him, and why for him chance his legacy of losing a fight that he probably doesn't even have to take. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need to prove himself anymore. I think it's a tough fight. I mean, I do think betting on the fight, I'm betting on John Jones, but I still think that Aspinall's got enough like athleticism to close a distance, right? Like John Jones wants this distance. He loves this. He's got this distance. And Aspinall's one of the heavyweights that he'd be fighting that can close the distance hard and fast.
You think Aspinall got a chance of beating John?
I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you've been in there with John.
Yeah.
You know, I've trained with Aspinall. I've held pads for him. I've also, you know, been around Francis a lot, and I understand what that heavyweight athlete looks like. Tom Aspinall is everything as advertised.
Oh, Coffin, I actually want to tell you something really fun. I don't care. I'm gonna air it out, Prismel. On God,
What?
like I connected Prismel with one of like someone from Khamzat's team, and the guy said $700,000 to stream with Cosma. I never laughed so hard in my life.
What the?
Yeah, it was insane.
700K?
Yeah.
That's just bad because I don't
Yo,
even
that
know
nigga
who the
loses
fuck
one.
that is.
Yo, was he gonna teach the chat how to submit a nigga step by step? Like what the f is that? Hell no.
Islam did it for free. That is true, bro. On God. W Islam. I'm now talking to Ali direct. I'm probably gonna go to Dagestan soon.
Some might say I've been humbled, brother.
You were literally on the top of the world, right? Unbeatable. Now you're coming off 2 losses, and the way you talk is just different now.
Some might say I've been humbled, brother. I'm still doing the same stuff I was doing before last camp. Not smoking, not drinking, not partying, not, you know, around. Just, you know, I got a 9-week-old baby now. I got a 4-year-old. Just completely dialed in. You know, really want to take advantage of these next 5-6 years that I can compete. I still truly believe I can beat Merab. There will be a trilogy someday down the line. You know, I'm still there a little bit. I'm a little bit more humble, but I'm still, you know, delusional.
And then now I beat the guy, right? You know, all 5 rounds, I look dominant, I take him down. Now it's time to raise my hand. And I forget everything about the belt. It was fight for the belt. I forget because I was not thinking too much in my head.
Yes.
Belt or speech or something. They raised my hand, I'm like, okay, I beat you. It's no big deal. And when he wrapped the belt in my waist, and then wow, oh my God, this is crazy. Now I'm champion and forever will be champion. It doesn't matter.
The machine, Wallace
Well, Corey said that if he were to win, that he would want you to be his first title defense. How would you approach that matchup?
I wouldn't say no. If they said, hey, if Corey beat Merab, you're fighting Corey for the title, I'd feel a little weird coming off 2 losses to fight for the title again. But I would, you know, I'm not gonna say no to a title fight, especially against Corey. Yeah, me versus Corey. I was actually trying to fight Corey when the co-main event fell out for that Max and Dustin fight. I threw my name out there to UFC. I was like, yo, I mean, 3 weeks, me versus Corey would be sweet, but it didn't really make sense for the UFC. Corey versus Merab was the next fight to make. But yeah, me versus Corey is a very interesting fight. that's one that's bound to happen down, sooner than later probably.
Take a look back at the BMF title versus Dustin Poirier and think of some of the things that Dustin Poirier said at the press conference. Number one thing that stands out to me was how he was the entire fight thinking in the back of his head, or probably at least in the last fifth round, I should say. When are we going to point down at the middle and when are we going to trade? Man, to have that weighing on your brain is just not, that's just genius by Max. He's saying, okay, we're going to go ego for ego. We're going to trade in the center of the octagon like a slap fighting match. Nobody's going to move their feet, and we're going to see who knocks who out. Well, when you do that, that takes you out of your game plan if you're Dustin Poirier. That's not the game plan. That's never what you want to do. That's not what your coaches want. That's not what you've trained for. That's not how you've trained, to just stand there, put all thoughts aside and just trade. That is for the fans. That is what the BMF is about. So when you fight for the BMF, you're fighting for ego. The world title itself, you just need to win, and everybody knows you are the best in the world when you win the world title. And so you don't need to do all that other stuff, because being the best in the world is enough. But the BMF title, you got to show the fans why you're a BMF. You have to prove it through something. And Max has found a way to do that, that point at the center. Now people want to come out there, you got to fight Max's style of fight in the last 10 seconds of every fight. That's the last thing the judges see. They're probably going to give that round to the person who wins that 10-second exchange most of the time, depending on how things land. And it's a genius way to get control of a fight that you might not have control of, if you can do that. And if you can get your opponent to come to it, as we saw with Gaethje. That fight, it was close, but that laid it out. Pun intended. That fight laid it out because they met in the middle and Justin Gaethje got knocked out. So that's what happens when you go into that type of exchange. But it's so interesting to me that Dustin Poirier was admitting, like, wow, I need to think about the last 10 seconds of the fight, and you're not present now. Now you're just thinking about the end of the last round, and you're not even in there trying to figure out what you got to do. Max has found a way to pull people out of their present moment, pull people into his style fight, and almost every time win that, because he's got fast combinations and that's what he wants to do. So fascinating stuff.
Talking about him being strong like a diamond, I mean, my right hand still hurts. Big ass head, you know what I mean? As I told him after the fight, but I see a lot of people talking about who's next, who's this. There's a lot of fun fights, like I said, for me at 55. Like I said, there's Oliveira. I mean, if Justin gets the next title shot, that would be cool. If I get the next title shot, I'd be sick. But if you have hopes of me fighting before the end of the year, probably not gonna happen. I see a specialist sometime this week, and I already met with my doctor. Now I gotta go meet the specialist, but things are not looking too up of me fighting one more time this year. So all that fight talk, I guess, is on still. So we just get to see how the 55 is gonna plan out.
I mean, the guy's the #1 contender, and to say that you would rather relinquish the belt than fight him is, come on, man. We're getting a little carried away, and we've talked about this before, where these guys in this generation of fighters, when they get to this top position now, are so willing to jump around weight classes and try to deny fighting guys. It's like, that's not how it works, man. If the guy's #1 and the UFC says, this is the guy, you're the champ, you're holding that belt, that's who you fight. I mean, it's just...
I agree.
But Mike, you were on the championship side. You know when you were getting ready to fight Dan Henderson, you wanted some get back on him, so you fought him. But if there was a bigger fight for you, George St. Pierre for that matter, you took it. Even though Yoel Romero, at the time, Mike, was probably the more justified #1 contender. The bigger fight was GSP, and you took it. So I get it. I get the frustration. But think about the champion side too, because Ilia's job to not only defend the belt, but also make sure that when he makes weight and he does all that, he gets to defend the belt. I'm not saying Arman Tsarukyan's this guy that constantly f***s up and that doesn't get to the scale or get to the fight. It happened one time. He should not be judged solely on that one time, especially after making weight and getting ready to fight as a backup fighter in the last fight. I'm just trying to give a little grace to the other side in regards to why that may be happening. At the end of the day, I agree with y'all. It should be Arman versus Ilia, and I don't think there's any question about that. But I think the problem with it is that lasting memory of him and Paddy Pimblett inside the octagon after the belt. It's going to be hard to erase, man. So get it, boys. Frustrated? Sure. Mike, don't act like you ain't sat in this position before, Michael. You know exactly why he's doing that, because you did it yourself when you had a chance to fight GSP instead of Yoel Romero. So it is what it is.
I mean, the guy's the number one contender, and to say that you would rather relinquish the belt than fight him is, come on, man. We're getting a little carried away. That's not how it fucking works, man. If the guy's number one and the UFC says this is the guy, you're the champ, you're holding that belt, that's who you fight. I mean, it's just.
I agree.
I love you, man. You say something like this for me, and now I say you. I love you. See you soon, boy. I love you too, boy. I love you too.